Hello, everybody. We welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and we are delighted to have you with us today on the program. We are going to focus on politics as we prepare to get ready to encourage people to go out and vote on Tuesday, May 16th. That's primary election day in Pennsylvania. Every election is important, and we're going to tell you how to get it done when we come back from this break. Stay with us. Hello, we are back and glad to have you with us on this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and today I have with me my friend Emmanuel Bussie. Thank you for coming. We are glad to have you.
Great, welcome.
And you're representing on behalf of Professionals for Progress.
That's correct.
I like that. I like that. Based out of North Philadelphia.
Correct.
Born and raised North Philadelphia.
Correct.
All right, Philly all the way. But what I have grown to really admire about you is that you have a strong stick-to-itiveness that just will not be diminished. And I like that. I like that about you. I like that spirit in you. I know that you love politics, and I think you love it for all the right reasons, not for the glory and the fame or so that somebody can say, oh, there goes Congressman so-and-so or State Representative so-and-so. You love it for, I think, because you understand what politics can do and what politicians can do for us, for the community, for constituents, as long as we got good ones in there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that, via politics, you can do some amazing things. One, you can allocate and distribute resources, and you can actually navigate how those resources are distributed. And then secondly, you can motivate and inspire people. And I say all the time that there's a difference between managers and leadership. Leadership motivates, inspires, and encourages. And we need more people to be leadership or to fill those roles of leadership. Oftentimes we look to elected officials or legislators to be leadership, and they're not necessarily the two. Legislators are there to write legislation or move legislation or drive legislation, but leadership, like Dave Richardson, like Ken Tu, they motivate, they inspire, they get people to get involved and get engaged to make things happen. And I like to consider myself a part of that leadership. I stand on those shoulders of the Ken Tus and the Dave Richardsons and the Lucian Blackwells, people that mentored me when I was first coming up, when I got my start. And I love the activism.
But you're too young to have known Dave Richardson.
Well, actually,
you were a baby when he was around.
Actually, he got appointed the chair of the Million Man March. And that's when I came into the, came in during the Million Man March. And I ran the IT for the North Philadelphia office. So I never really got to really know him that well, but I was they had a Black Political Summit.
Yes.
I sat in the audience of the Black Political, and I just watched him and I observed him. And I liked his fight. Actually, what inspired me to get engaged and get involved was my mom came home one day and she said, she was talking to a neighbor and she said, they was fighting. And I was just listening, eavesdropping. She said, they were fighting. I said, and the neighbor said, who was fighting? She said, they was fighting the city council. Who was fighting the city council? Lucian Blackwell and Street. And when I, heard and seen that they was actually physically fighting, that's, I would like to consider myself a fighter. And I think that and I like all our elected officials. I have good relationships with all elected officials. I just wish they had a greater sense of urgency to the issues that affect our people. And I think I have a good sense for that urgency, and I move and operate in that space.
That is so very important, and I remember those days as well. But now, when I first met Dave Richardson, I was 21 years old. I had just come home from Marquette University, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, wet behind the ears, didn't know nothing about Philly politics at all. And the first politician ever in my life that I met in Philadelphia was David P. Richardson. And on that first meeting, he said, come on, follow me. I'm going to show you politics in Philadelphia. I'm going to teach you the ropes about politics in Philadelphia. And that was it for me. I mean, I became a Dave Richardson follower and mentee amongst a lot of other people who were blessed to have that opportunity. And he's somebody that I'll never forget. As we look at this year of 2017 with this 45th president in the White House and an election looming ahead of us here in Philadelphia, people still not satisfied about the last election we had in November of 2016, but nonetheless, we got to go forward. So what are we looking at in this election cycle in Pennsylvania? what, I mean, I know district attorney, city controller, but.
So what I think that we really should be focused on is less about the politics and more about policy. I think that we should focus a little less on the personalities and more on the personal issues that affect us. For example, I have a great appreciation for voter participation now that I looked, and when I start interacting with politicians, and they actually look to see who voted.
Yes.
How many people voted in West Philly? How many people voted in the 19121? How many people voted in the 19132 or 33? They actually look at zip codes and they allocate resources and time and energy based on voter participation. So I think that in 2017, we should focus a little less on the personalities and more on setting goals like, you know, let's make this the #1, the highest voter participation of any off-year election that we had in decades. Let's break records.
I am so tired of hearing those words about, oh, this is going to be a low voter turnout election. And they always say that when it's not a presidential election year or a mayoral race. It just seems like the energy level isn't as high, but we have to get rid of that feeling.
And here, and I say this all the time as well, we are good at hitting our targets. Most people, if you say, can you do that? And they set their mind to it, they'll achieve it, they'll do it. We're good at hitting our targets. What happens is we aim too low. We just aim too low. So if you aiming for 9% or 10%, or your rhetoric is about 9% turnout, 12% turnout, you aiming low. You setting the expectations low already. Why not aim high? Why not try to equal the same output we had in the presidential election? Set that tone.
Right.
Be that type of leadership where you set that tone and encourage people to go out there and hit those records, hit those marks, and then see what happens.
Well, I just thought it was so very important for me to be able to shine the spotlight on a person like yourself, who is young, who is one of the millennials, who is intelligent, well-educated, and well-positioned to make a difference in this city, as opposed to bringing on the usual, tried, regular people who would talk like Committee of 70, no disrespect to them. I would always normally reach out for the executive director of the Committee of 70 or someone like that. But I wanted a fresh new perspective on what's going on with this election cycle. Why are we still hearing that young people are not voting enough? Are they that turned off from the 2016 elections, or was it even before that young folks got turned off again about the process?
So it's apathy and hopelessness, right? There's a feeling of hopelessness because we've been disappointed so often. Yeah. And every time you get one of these scandals of someone getting indicted, it adds to that.
Yes.
So what we need to do is find a way to generate a little hope in a younger voter. And I'm not a younger voter. I'm like, I just look kind of a little younger, but I'm actually an old timer. But what we need to do is find a way to inspire young people to get engaged and get involved. And what we're saying now and what we're doing now isn't inspirational. We need to set inspirational and aspirational goals for us to achieve. For example, we have a minority participation level of where we're trying to get 30%. Or 40%, when the African American and minority participation is about 57% of the city. Why not go for 50-50? When you set in policies through all the city departments, why not shoot for 50-50? 50% minority, your minority participation should reflect the demographics of the city that you live in. Why not shoot for that? Whether you attain it or not is one thing, but why not shoot for that?
And why can't people vote like they do in the mighty 50th ward, which is still Marion Tasco's ward, or the 59th ward, which is Donna Reed Miller's ward? They come out in large numbers in those wards, and when I hear some wards, the numbers are just like, I can't believe it. The apathy or the disinterest or the disconnect that is there.
See, oftentimes you have to show, then tell. Now, you can't keep telling them, vote. If you don't vote, you don't count. If you don't vote, you have to show some tangible benefits of my participation or their participation. Because if you don't show tangible benefits, then they're less likely to be engaged and get involved. And one of the ways that we can actually show tangible benefits of your engagement is through employment and contracts.
Yes.
There are hundreds of millions of dollars projects popping up all around the city. If you start getting young people employment situations where they're making SEPTA type wages, meaning $40,000 a year, which is not, it's not that hard to do. When you have 99% white participation in the labor unions, that discourages the African American community or Latino community from participating because they don't see a tangible benefit to their participation. We have to start showing, then telling, in my opinion.
Okay, so for this election, it's coming up on Tuesday, May the 16th. There's going to be a deadline coming up any moment, I'm sure, for voter registration. If you plan on participating in this upcoming election and you needed to re-register, or if this is your first time voting because you just turned 18 or older, or you just moved to Philadelphia, so that clock is ticking. But we want people to know who they have to vote for, what's going to be on the ballot. So district attorney, and there's like 7 people running. 2 are Republican and the other 5 are Democrats. City controller. Does Alan Bukovitz have an opponent?
No, I don't believe he has an opponent. You got the municipal court judges, the common pleas court judges.
Now, of municipal court, I was told that there's only 3 seats available. Do you know if that's true?
I believe that is true. There's only 3 municipal court available. You also have the Superior Court Justice, even the Supreme Court Justice. You have a number of judicial seats up for election. And what I would, what I would strongly encourage people to do is that even if you don't have the energy to come out to the candidates and to the candidates forum and the candidates night, is to go out and just, all of them are on Facebook, all of them out on social media. Just take a look at the candidates and try to participate, because a lot of the resources are determined based on participation. People got to understand that your vote or lack of your vote is being counted. So when I'm out there fighting and arguing for jobs and opportunities and contracts, they look at where the votes come from. And they're human beings. I mean, votes pay their kids' college tuition. Votes pay their mortgage. And if in the 50th, if that's where the vote's at, and they want their rec center gym redone, and in the 29th ward, they want their rec center done, I'm going to do the rec center where the most votes are. They're human beings, and they have to, and oftentimes they have to look out for their self-interest as well. We actually have to find a way to encourage people to be more participatory in the electoral process and give them reasons to participate.
Okay. Now, real quick, because we're running out of time, do you have any more workshops coming up or anything like that, that teach people who want to run for political office how to do it? Maybe it's too late for this election, for May 16th, but for elections coming even after that. Yeah,
so we're gearing up for workshops. I mean, we really want to, actually the last workshops were just like a test run, a trial run. We're going to go full steam ahead when it's time to run for committee people. I mean, we want every single person that possibly can to run for a committee person. I mean, it's like that's the grassroots level in terms of getting involved in politics. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of energy about challenging the Democrat. I'm a different kind of Democrat.
You're a different kind of Democrat.
I'm a different kind of Democrat.
And if people want to follow you, you got some social media stuff you can give to us real quick as we wind it down?
Yes. If you go on Facebook, it's different kind of Democrat. You go to Instagram, it's different kind of Democrat. You go to Twitter, it's different kind of Democrat. If you just Google different kind of Democrat, you'll be able to find us.
And I'm going to Google Emmanuel Bussie. That's how I know how to do it. All right. I thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate you. And I also appreciate you for being a voice on the morning show I do at 900 AM WURD.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Appreciate you so much. And we're going to continue with this edition of News You Can Use in just a moment. So stay with us. Don't go away. We're going to talk about credit and fixing it after this.
Action. You may think a guy would be producing this, but I can too. Anyone can find a cure.
Women are being downgraded for their physical ability, but you can be just as strong.
%20 of women are engineers, but it doesn't stop there.
I'm a tech girl. I'm a tech girl.
I am a tech girl.
I am a tech girl.
A prayer to St. Clair, the patron saint of television.
Oh, wondrous St. Clair, I ask that you bless my television with good reception and good color balance.
I also ask for your assistance in choosing quality programs that provide me with endless hours of enlightening entertainment.
Amen.
Your prayers have been answered.
You're watching LaSalle TV.
You know you watch.
This is Kevin, and Kevin could use some kindness. Here's Ian. He could be that man. Ian chooses to be inconsiderate and not hold the door for Kevin, and in turn, Kevin suffers. Kindness may be a choice, but doing so is always the right one. So if Ian can make the right choice, you can too.
Well, hello everybody, and we're back. As promised, in this segment of our program, I told you we were going to talk with a credit solutions expert, and she is here. Tamika Pressley, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you, and she is the proud owner, president, CEO of Pressley Credit Solutions.
Yes, I am.
All right. Now, what got you in this line of business? Did you see a lot of people messing up with their money, and you just had the knowledge and said, I'm gonna help these people out, or how did you get started?
So before, maybe like more than 10 years ago, I had bought a segment from Robert Kiyosaki. It was some type of real estate investing books he had, and inside some of his books, he had tips on how you can repair your credit. And I had did it for like a couple family members and maybe like my aunt's friend, but I never really paid it any mind. I was just like, okay, you know, maybe that's just it. You know, you can't make a business out of this. It's ridiculous, right? So then from there, I started becoming, I was a trader. So I started going to China, buying merchandise.
When you say a trader, like in New York, a trader, like
yeah, I was
Wall
a trader,
Street?
like a trader, no, not a Wall Street trader, like not a broker in that sense, but a trader like if you have a business here or in Africa and you need items for your business for it to run smoothly at amazing prices, I would be the person who would go to China, place your orders with factories, and have your goods sent to you in a timely manner, right? Okay. So I did that for more than 9 years, right? Let's say almost 10 years, okay? So then in the process of international travel, yeah. So in the process of me, I'm going back and forth to China and being in the markets and buying and selling, you know, because I was doing kids' clothes too for myself. You know, I had boutiques all the time. I would like open new boutiques all over the place. I had carts in the malls, and you know, I was just in business, you know. And then from there on, I had a really good friend, and she had kind of started doing credit repair, and she made a business out of it. So then I was like, well, you know, I didn't know it was, you know, a business that you could actually really do and get paid for. So then I kind of just like really like zoned into it, how I zoned into like the business in China, and I just like took it by storm. It was just like amazing, like how I got into it, and like I dealt with my clients. How I get into my business is how I get into their business when they're with their credit. Like I look at every I and make sure it's dotted, and every T and make sure it's crossed.
So when a person who may have really messed up their credit and they need some help, and they come to a professional like you, I'm thinking in my head, one of the first things they've got to do is be honest with you. You can't sit up there with your credit repair person and you're lying, because how can you help me if I'm not telling you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, right?
Right. So usually, so the difference in what I do compared to with what other people do in credit repair, I really don't need a whole spiel about how you messed your credit up or why you messed your credit up. Actually, I'm not really interested. I'm only interested in knowing if I can genuinely help you or not, and if I can, I'm going to do that. And if I can't, I'm going to tell you what options are better for you at that point. But most people, I can usually help. And how we repair credit is we look for violations and inaccuracies that the credit bureau or creditor has made on your behalf. So we don't say, this is how we get student loans deleted, you know, foreclosures, mortgages. We get basically anything deleted on your credit because they're doing inaccurate reporting. Even if it's tax liens, federal, state, whatever the lien is, they still have laws to follow. So when they break the laws, Pressley Credit Solutions, we call them on all the laws they break, and then we say, hey, you know, you got to fix this for this person. It's not looking right, and they'll just kind of like, you know, deleted. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. So now, is there an office that people can come to here in the Philadelphia area and sit with you? And, you know,
there is an office that you can come to. My office is 610 Old York Road in Jenkintown, PA. It's right on the top of Outback Steakhouse. Are you familiar with Outback?
Sure.
Yeah, so it's right on top of Outback. And I'm there actually 7 days a week. I actually also do training. So I teach people the business of credit repair. So let's say if you're a stay-at-home mom and you know you want extra income and you want to learn how to make money for yourself and do your own business, I would train you how to do credit repair and how to make a business of credit repair.
Okay. Well, one of the mistakes that I made as an 18-year-old in college, and nobody taught me any of this stuff before going away to college. When credit card companies start sending you credit cards, ignore it or don't accept them all, which is what I did. I didn't know any better. I'm out. I'm in Wisconsin. I don't have parents around telling me what to do. Nobody ever told me before I left to go to college about beware of credit cards or how to use one if you get one or two. And so I just got the credit cards and I started going to JCPenney's and Learner Shop in these places in the Rainbow and getting stuff and then not keeping up with the payments. So by the time I graduated 4 years later, I got all kinds of debt, not even to mention your college debt from the loans.
Right.
So it was like, you know, I started off my adult life at the age of 21 with like crazy debt that I shouldn't have had, but nobody talked to me. Do you offer workshops or classes or seminars where parents can bring their young folks to give them all the beware of statements that they should have?
So we do, again, like I do have Pressley's Credit University where we do credit repair training. On April the 30th, we have a Fear of Securing the Bag event, and we're talking about business credit, we're talking about personal credit, and we're just talking about business as a whole and how you should use your credit to create business and not debt for yourself. So absolutely.
And that sounds very good. I know when I first met you, you were in the midst of preparing for a big event at Temple University where you had a long list of outstanding speakers who came to share their knowledge and information. So not only do you have yourself, but if and when you need to, you can reach out to this contact and that contact and the other one who can come and bring their special expertise to the table too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm connected with a lot of powerful people who support me and support my business, and we actually support each other. You know, we're trying to create a wave of by any means necessary. You know, whatever we need to get done, we're going to get it done. If it's with your credit, whatever we need to make happen, we want to make happen. And I want my clients and my students and with their clients to always remember that use your credit to build more income instead of building more debt for yourself. Because when you have your 750 credit scores and 800 credit scores, you actually can get money to use personal loans and use that as an investment instead of going to Learners or going to JCPenney's and just, you know, shopping, creating debt. And you can where you can make if you had it as an income, you can, you know what I mean, leverage your finances a little bit more. So if you had another income, you'll be able to sponsor yourself with those extra expenses.
Okay. So if people want to know more about Pressley Credit Solutions, is there a website?
We do have a website. It's www.presleyscreditsolutions.com. I'm on Instagram as The Credit Boutique. And I'm also on Facebook as Tamika Pressley, and I do a lot of live videos, and I show examples of some of my work and so on and so forth. And my number is 610-563-3163.
Say that number again a little slower.
610-563-3163.
Now, one of the things you said when I had the opportunity to interview on Word Radio, and this doesn't have anything to do with credit, you gave a shout out to your mother and police officers of the city of Philadelphia. And I thought that was pretty cool because so often we hear police officers getting trash talked about and this and that and the other. I happen to love and respect police officers too.
So, yeah, so absolutely. My mother, her name is Sheila Pressley. She's a sergeant at the 3rd District in South Philly.
All right, 3rd District.
3rd District. So everybody pretty much knows my mom in the city of Philadelphia because she has done outstanding work for the city. And I don't know if she's getting the recognition that she usually deserves, but of course that's my mom, so I'm going to, you know, pump her up even more. Sure. But, you know, she's done an amazing job, you know, with raising me. I'm her only child, and I have nothing but great things to say about her. She's fantastic, and she's fantastic for the community also, you know. So she's a mother to me and a mother to everyone else. So
well, we're going to keep your mom and all Philly police officers in prayer as they're doing their jobs and trying to help keep this city safe and to keep all of us safe as well. And I want to thank you for coming. Appreciate the knowledge and the information that you shared today. And you'll have to come back again next season to share some more, because credit issues aren't going away. Unfortunately, there's always somebody else standing in line who says, "Oh, I messed up and I need somebody like an expert to get me out of this."
Yep, and I'm actually every Sunday at 7, I'm on Word. I have a credit show, so I talk about credit for 1 hour, and I take phone calls, and I help
7 to 8 p.m.
7 to 8 p.m.
Cool, very good.
So, yeah, I talk about credit at that time, too. Yep.
Very good. Well, this is all good to know. And put out your phone number again and the address where you're located. And tell us what your hours are.
Okay, so my hours are basically 8 to 8. You know, we're on a 12-hour schedule because we have a lot of staff that we sponsor and take care of. My phone number, again, is 610-563-3163. My website is www.presleyscreditsolutions.com. And on Instagram, I'm The Credit Boutique. And on Facebook, I'm Tamika Pressley.
All right. I thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it very, very much. All right. Okay, so that just about does it for us. And this edition of News You Can Use, I want to thank you for checking us out. Also want to encourage you to watch and listen to what we do on 900 AM WURD. We're on Mondays through Fridays. We're in the early bird time slot, 6 to 7 a.m. We have a lot of fun with it. We Facebook Live, as well as you can check us out on the Word website, www.900amwurd.com. So we do that show daybreak on Word. And of course, we're here with LaSalle TV, and we appreciate the opportunity for what we get to do here at LaSalle. And finally, last chance, young people looking for a summer job, 6-week summer job, minimum wage is between July the 5th and August the 10th. And all you got to do is come to 3101 North 22nd Street to the Benatti Recreation Center between the hours of 2:30 and 5:30 for the next 2 weeks, the weeks of April the 10th through April the 18th or so. And check us out there and let us know you want a summer job. First come, first serve. We got 280 slots and 100 filled so far. It means we have 180 job slots yet to fill for the summer of 2017. So if you're looking for work and you're 14 to 18 years of age, still in high school, can have your parents' permission, get your working papers, and you can come and work with the Allegheny West Foundation. We'll have summer jobs around the city at a lot of different locations, so come and check us out. Thank you for checking out this edition of our show. We want to thank Mr. Emmanuel Bussie for being our first guest and Tamika Pressley for being our second guest. And keep your dial right here. More great programming coming your way. Have a good day, everybody, and keep an attitude of gratitude. Take care.